Welcome to Evolution of Sound presents Teknoclash episode 5. This is the third take that I'm recording the intro because now everything is set up because my girlfriend forgot to plug in the microphone. So it's pretty funny. No, today we have a little script. I looked over some points which have been asked in the comments on Facebook and on YouTube. So we're going to talk about 4 points today. The first one will be my DAW, what I'm using and what I like about it. The second point will be EQing. So which EQ I'm using the most, for what you can use EQing and what's important at EQing. The third point will be melodies, how I create my melodies, something like you hear in the background which I've prepared for today. And the fourth point will be the Virus TI2, which I'm using a lot. And so I'm going to show you the virus control, the plugin for the virus. And I explain you a little bit how you can make certain sounds, but not in depth, because sound design is totally up to Zenworld and he does a great job with it. And so I show you a little bit why it is worth to buy a virus and some critical points about the virus too. So thank you for the support so far. We are now nearby 10,000 views over the last 4 episodes. I'm very thankful for that, so thank you very much for the support. And yeah, we dive directly into it. I'm looking forward and I see you in a second. So we want to talk now about my DAW, the digital audio workstation of my choice. This is Studio One from Presonus. I'm currently running version 2.6.3, so it's the latest on my Mac OS X. And yeah, what I like about it is that you have a pretty cool workflow, which means that you have, when you start it, you have this starting page here. So you can see here the news feed, so like the latest updates, like here for example Studio One has been released. You can see, you can choose artist profile where you can put in your name, a picture and everything, which is directly in there, and you can choose a track. So we are going now to open the track which I've started for today. So what I will show you is, for example, that everything in this DAW is based on drag and drop. For example, I want a new instance of Massive, then I have here my browser, then I take Massive, simply I go, for example, here, and directly I have here a channel with Massive, with the channel for the FX stuff, and I can add here my basic chain. It's called basic, it's a panning, it's a compressor and a fab filter, EQ and LFO tool for sidechaining. What I love about it is also that here on the top is a macro bar where I can add and remove some points. For example, I want to do a new group. I do a new group. I name it transport, like I have. I make a new button. I name the button like play. Then I can go on, put an order to it. Then I can choose here an order for it, and then I have everything. So for example, I added here that I can have the loop on the selection. So then it's looped here. So what I love about Studio One too is, for example, that you can cut audio files, and I choose, in this case, I choose selection loop, selection. So I have this file here, and then we have here event FX. So I can put just on this part an reverb or a delay. So I don't need to put an automation and make the wetness up and everything. I just simply put on the back side like an EQ or delay, and everything is working fine without automation. So this was a short overview. So in the end it's pretty cool organized. You have a very good mixer. You can choose how you want to have your mixer. You can put it like this, that you have the FX stuff here. I like it when it's like this, so then it's the FX stuff and the sense on top. I can make it fat or thin, so I have here all the channels, or I can make it wider, then I can see more details of it. And yeah, this here is the browser, so it means you can put some, you have all your effects here, and when I want on this instance of massive, for example, a fab filter in this case, I just simply drag it from here to massive and it opens up instantly. So the best advantage of Studio One is I came from Logic, and I know Logic is a fucking bitch, that it's stable. It's stable as hell. I had in Logic in 2 hours like 10 crashes. I have in Studio One like 1 crash a day. And that's mostly resulted from plugins, not from the engine by itself. So this is a very good advantage of it. Like I explained you, here the toolbar, you have all the tools here, the shortcuts are pretty smart. So when you put 1, you have the selection. When you put 3, for example, you have the cutting tool. 4 is the rubber, and 5 is the paint tool for automation. You have a mute tool on 6, and yeah, you have a solo tool for there. And yeah, the good thing about it also is automation. When you have, for example, you have a plugin open and you want to automate the amp of this oscillator, then you go in the left corner, then you put the hand, then you drag simply there, and you see all the automations, and you can automate it from here. So you don't need to move a knob like in Logic, so it's pretty handy. What I want to say is that it's, in my eyes, it's the best DAW, but that's in the end also a matter of taste. I like it, I like the workflow, I like that it's stable, I like all the editing possibilities, that Melodyne is integrated into it. If you want to know something about Melodyne, that's for tone and pitch correction of vocals, and audio files are pretty cool. I love the browser, I love pretty much everything about Studio One, and I'm not getting paid from them, that I want to say. So now we're going to EQ. I will explain you what we can do with EQing, which EQ I'm using, and yeah, that's the next point. There we are with EQing now. And first of all, I want to show you the EQ of my choice. That's the FabFilter Pro Q. I really love the whole FabFilter bundle, and I've bought it like one of the first plugins ever which I've bought, and that's very good invested money because I love simply the EQs. I've also the UAD Apollo card, which provides also EQs, and I'm using also the Manly Massive Passive and all that stuff, but I guess not all of you got the UAD stuff, so I'm explaining you why I love the FabFilter and what it's useful for. What I love about the FabFilter first is that it has a high resolution of what you're doing. So when you press, you instantly see what you do and you see what you remove. That's also pretty cool. You can choose the analyzer as pre-post and pre and post together. That's very good. You can put the resolution on maximum in this case, so then you see directly what is going on in that EQ, and that is very good. What it also has, what a very good advantage is that it has a channel mode. That means you can make left-right EQing and mid and side. So for example, you have this low cut here, which is on the lead, and you say, okay, I want the stereo placement, I want only the low frequencies in the mid, cut it, or in the side, what makes in this case more sense. So you can make mid and side EQing. So now we have it on the side, you see it is getting blue here. There is a blue line, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's there. So, and then you still have the low frequencies from the lead in the lead, and yeah, that's cool. That's what I love about it. It's left and right, and you can make here also the stereo placement left and right. So you can also just EQ a left speaker or a right speaker. That's very cool. You have very handy mods here that you can choose here: bell, low cut, low shelf, high cut, notch and stuff. And yeah, that's what I love about that EQ. So now we are I'm showing you why you use EQs. The most important thing is when I apply 10 EQs, in 9 cases, even when it's not a bass sound, the first thing what I do is I low cut at 100 Hertz. So that is what I wanted to say, and what I already told you in the previous episodes. But you can also do some crazy stuff with EQs, like you can use it for sound design. You can shape certain frequencies. You can make it more like a rave sound. when you get some extreme peaks. Or you can make it very dull. That when you want to have some sort of epic stuff, and you can just put up the crispiness of it. So, and when you use it for sound design, you can make some very extreme stuff. I'm doing also a couple of times very extreme stuff on sounds I like, but then I apply a second EQ where I reduce some of the extreme stuff, which makes in a couple of ways sense, in a couple of cases sense. And yeah, the most important thing about EQing is that you make everything fit in your mix, so that you get rid of low frequencies in lead sounds, that you can boost some bass stuff when you have like a bass sound, like in this case. I guess I boosted here something. Yeah, you can see it. It's this here, so that you have like boosted up, and that it's getting more bass. So that was the EQing. Yeah, now we are going to talk a little bit about melodies, how I start, and yeah, stuff like that. So now we are at point 3 at Evolution of Sound presents Teknoclash episode 5. This is now about melodies, how I start my melodies, and yeah, so it's pretty strange to explain because everybody works different. I work that I first find some chords. I choose a normal piano in the contact from Native Instruments. So then I fool around with chords which I like, and then I record that chords. I look at the timing which I like. Sometimes I hear tracks where I like the timing and I think, oh, that's cool, so maybe we can do something in that corner, but not to copy it. So the first thing is that I have like chords, like this melody, where I look for different variations of chords. So this one goes normal, down, normal, and up. Then I build like the top notes on the chords. The very first thing normally is that I look for low notes. So this, for example, or something what you like. Then I build the chords on it because chords are based on the low notes. So you have different scales. That means you have a minor and a major scale. But what this is, it will blast everything when I will explain it to you. So what I can recommend you is I get, for example, piano lessons. That's very useful. Or you can look on the internet stuff about basic music theories, how to create melodies. Like the best thing is look for videos where old school piano teachers are explaining musical theory. Like chords, scales, like everything about music simply. So, but how I work is that I find, like I showed you here, the chords for it. Then making something like I'm searching for top notes. Most of the times I'm playing just the chords in the loop, and then I play on my keyboard like the higher notes what I would like. This came in this case up, so it is a minor scale, so it is a bit more sad or emotional, and that's what I liked about it. And yeah, so I picked this one, and yeah, but yeah, that's the way I work in most of the times. But sometimes it's different. Sometimes I hear something in TV and then I haven't had, okay, oh yeah, well you can do it. And so what can I say? Also, what I do is then in the layering I have like the chords here, for example, it's like this. And then I'm using a layer with just the top notes. Yeah. And what I do also is sometimes I layer some, for example, the piano, or I layer strings where I just play the low note of the chord and the top note of the chord. This is to widen it up a bit. Then I'm recording most of the times chords with the Virus. And then, yeah, everything together sounds. Yeah, that's what I can recommend you in the end is try to know everything about musical theory, scales, chords, minor, major. It's even good when you can read notes. That's also very good. So now we are going to talk about the Virus TI. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So now we are looking over my Virus TI2. Some of you requested what I'm using the Virus for and how to do sounds with it. The thing is, I guess I'm not that good in explaining how to design sounds with the Virus, but I can show you like stuff what I've done with the Virus. For example, this is the chords preset which I'm using for the background chord. So this is the preset. It is an high-pass saw. Here you have the oscillators, and where you can do some crazy stuff with it. You can choose between 3 oscillators, and you have the unison here, and it's pretty hard to explain because the synthesizer has some strange waveforms in it where you can make sounds like this, what I've done here also. So you can make some very screaming stuff when you use the 4-month simple waveforms, and you can. What I love about the Virus is that you can have like this distortion unit here. For example, you can make the saturation with a distortion, because normally it's just like this, and then you put it like this, and it's a very screaming sound. What I love about the Virus is that you can make like multiple sorts of sounds. You can make sort of screeches. For example, like the one we have here, the screaming one, you can simply go to the filter and you can reduce it, and you have immediately like you have a very great metallic pluck. And you have here the matrix section where you can route some stuff on it. Like I've routed here the envelope 4 to the filter, so we can go to envelope 4. Can make some crazy stuff like that. You have LFOs here. You can choose for free LFOs. You can assign them to the distortion intensity, to filter balance and stuff like that. You have the matrix, like I told you. You have a very great arpeggiator. You have the FX section with great distortion. You have a chorus, you have a phaser, filter bank. You can make this very crazy vowel filtered stuff. Remember, that is this sound. And you can make some crazy stuff with the filters. You have an EQ here, which is very good. You have like reverb and delay in the FX section. You can choose here if you want it as poly, mono, or something like this. You have tons of sounds. These are like some of the sounds which I created with the Virus, for example, like this. And some crazy stuff with the, you can do some crazy stuff with the virus, and that's what I love about that device. So, but it has some critical points. Also, the USB is very unstable, so it crashes and it crashes. It's like a lady, so you have to treat her right, and then it works right. Yeah, sometimes, but in the end, it's a very great synthesizer where I'm doing like what I'm using from it. In this case, I'm using it for. They sound very rich, and I just can recommend everybody who wants to invest like 1,500 euros for a great synthesizer, go and buy a Virus. Because that's a synthesizer which I use the most of the times. I have also Virus C, which is very cool. And yeah, this was an overview of the Virus control. This is the plugin which is related to the Virus. So it's not like only a plugin, you need the hardware to it, and yeah, then you can make some crazy sounds, and that's what very cool about the Virus. So far, so good. So this was Evolution of Sound presents Teknoclash episode 5. We've talked about my DAW Studio One, which I'm using for my productions. We have talked about EQing, which EQ I use, what you can achieve with EQing. We have talked about melodies, how I create my melodies, how I start, what you have to know when you do melodies. So we have talked about my Virus TI, what I like about the Virus TI and what you can do with it. And yeah, I hope you liked it, that we have different points. If you want me to talk about one point in one video for about 15 or 20 minutes, just drop a comment below. Or if you like it when we do like more points in a short period, if you like that more, you can also drop me a comment. What we are going to do in episode 6, as usual, I don't know, so I count again on you guys. You can drop me messages at Facebook, at my Facebook page www.facebook.com/Teknoclash. You can also like the Evolution of Sound podcast. They have a tremendous, great, epic, shit-kicking podcast every week coming out. Check out facebook.com/EOS podcasts. And yeah, if you want to get in touch with me, just drop me a line and drop comments and hit the like button if you like it. That would be very great, and I appreciate every support. And thank you for about 10,000 views on the previous 4 episodes. I'm blown away, and I just can say thank you. So I see you in 2 weeks. Thanks, bye.